Welcome, SRL fans, to a wonderful night down here in Melbourne. We are at home at the Storm ground, Amy Park, here with the Raiders coming here um, on what has proved to be quite an interesting afternoon. Round four, after some massive points put on these teams last week, or at least put on by some of these teams. I'm Amac in the box, and joining me tonight is Liam Ryan. Liam, it is going to be a wonderful night of football. What do you make of these two teams tonight?
Yeah, hey, Mac, it's going to be an absolute cracker here tonight. The Storm, they came off a thrashing last week. Obviously, 48-6 winners over the Roosters in round three. And the Raiders, they're coming off a loss to the Broncos, 24-18. They were competitive in that one. They gave it their all. I think that they'll be motivated to give this Storm side a real hot crack. But the Storm, they are a formidable outfit, AMAC, and they are fit and raring to go.
Yeah, we can't look past that man right there about to take that kick off. Tama Turbal, he had a massive game last week, going over for a hat-trick himself. But the scary thing about the Storm tonight is he is not the only danger man, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely, Mac. There's strike all over the park. We saw their centers had a really good games last week. Pep Sanchez and Tyrese Tonga, he had a double last week. So they've got strike everywhere, and the Raiders can't underestimate that.
As Canberra Raiders, they've got first touch of the ball tonight. Now, the Canberra Raiders, they've only got one small change to their team list. They've swapped around Nicholas Ether and Trent Martin. Trent Martin filling in as a centre with Ether slotting into the number 12, which I'm not really against at the moment here, Liam, considering how close their loss was last week against the Broncos.
Yeah, absolutely, Mac. A change needed to be made by Flynn, I think, just to try and change something because obviously after a loss like that, it's a bit heartbreaking if you don't change anything. But yeah, as we see, Rui Jones making a good run down the sideline.
And now the Storm at home tonight in front of their fans, they're going to want a good start because after you come off a big win, sometimes you can find yourself a little bit too confident coming in. And when it's a team like the Raiders, you got to have a good start. As there's Tank bumping off two and running off down the field. Now, this forward pack for the Storm, they are something else, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. They have got Patreon strike all over the park in their forward pack, and yeah, they just create a huge foundation for them. As we say, Noel take a great run. He's almost at the try line now. Storm, they're going to look to Turbo, I think.
Oh, they dink it to Galaxy, and Galaxy is put on his back. Fifth tackle. They're going to send it up, even though we all know and we all see that it is not. But the ref, they got to get their eyes out there, possibly hoping for a bit of a turn on Dancing with the Stars, as the Broncos, not the Broncos, sorry, the Storm. Obviously, no try. They bring it back to the 10 for their fifth tackle, and Galaxy or Metcalf put it high. Here goes Metcalf. That's a wonderfully weighted ball. Metcalf goes down. He chases his own kick, and that's just something a bit special to start here at Amy Park tonight, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just great kick chase there from Metcalf. That's going above, getting your own kick. That's insane work from the number seven. That it's a little bit poor from the Raiders winger, but just an insane grab from Metcalf. And yeah, Tama's going to try and convert here to make it a 6 point lead. And yeah, the Storm, they started well. Uh, let's see if they get a bit complacent here after scoring their first points.
Yep, Tama kicking it straight back. There is a lot of green in that stadium tonight, Liam. It looks like half of Canberra's come on down across the border just to cheer their boys home tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. They are very passionate, the Canberra fans. And why wouldn't you be? Because their side's absolutely tremendous. And they certainly back their boys.
5 minutes into the game, probably just a little blip on the radar so far for the Raiders tonight. Putting it behind them and hitting up for a good defensive set here. They didn't do too much bad in the last defensive set, Raiders, but that Storm outfit just pushed themselves hard up the field as JJ gets just shy of the 30. Galaxy, risky ball to Sanchez, who takes it and makes another 10 meters. That was a line ball at best, but the Storm, they are already storming up the field. Galaxy, long ball out to Metcalf, the halves linking up. 45 minutes out. fourth tackle. Bit of a slow play of the ball, but we keep going as White links up with Malo Okusu'ulai, and he is brought down on his fifth. A good 59 meters after points, and the Raiders, they're going to want to start doing something with the ball here because they cannot let the Storm walk all over them tonight, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. They hadn't had the ball for about 5 minutes, I'd say. So they've just got to get into their groove here. I think they've just got to work it up, try and get to a kick here, and just really start to mount some pressure on this Storm line because, yeah, as you said, if this Storm team's dangerous, and if you just let them hold the ball for too long, they're going to mount points.
On throwing the ball around, something lovely there. Thompson does a little bit of a pirouette. It's great to see a half putting on the moves that a fullback might, as Barnes, good short ball to Arnworth, and Arnworth is over. Irby Arnworth has been a phenomenal second rower all season so far for the Raiders, and it looks like he is going to continue that form tonight, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. Obi if he is one of the informed players in the comp right now. He had a huge game last week against the Broncos, and he was certainly phenomenal in the game before that. So it's great to see him continue that form. He's scored tries in back-to-back weeks. That's really good stuff from a back row.
And any hope of a whitewash is completely gone now, at least for the moment, as the Raiders slot that over for 6-all. I think someone needs to go out and check on Turbow, however, there, Liam, because I think he might have just been a little bit caught up on the post behind the back play there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the trainers ran out to him. He's signaling if he's all right to continue because he's kicking this one off, but they were just making sure he didn't need a HLA for 15 minutes.
As Riley Flynn takes the first hit up. Now, I think a lot of pundits were saying that last week, one of the big reasons why the Raiders weren't able to get up over the Broncos was because of Riley Flynn and how much defense that man was forced to do. I think, if I recall right, he had the most tackles out of any Raider on the field last week, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was still pretty tremendous from memory. I think he had 260 odd meters. It just proves how good of a player he is, even with making so much tackles.
As James passes it off to Irby Arnworth again, who gets up 25 meters out. They might be in a sniff to run of booting it down the field here, as Godwin puts it high, which is probably a good call. White comes down with it and is dragged down. That is an excellent set after points there for the Raiders.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to want to mount some defensive pressure. As I say that, Taubal makes a great run over the 40. This proves how dangerous this man is right now.
Yep, JJ bumps off one and oh, he's pushed back. Not before he offloads though, and Malasuka Alai gets up 35 meters out. Third tackle. Here come the Storm. Coming wide. Metcalf links up with Galaxy and back on the inside for Turbo for a forward pass. The Storm, they need to calm it down because that is not smart football there, Liam.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to get too creative there. I think that the Metcalf, if I'm not mistaken, he should just hold on to the ball and then yeah, just take it up because yeah, just don't want to give possession to the Raiders here because they're in some great attacking field position.
As Nicola Ethurst tries to sneak his way through the line, filling in there as a number 12. Down the blind side, Thompson back on the inside to Flynn, who can't get through, but some good post-contact meters there, 15 meters out. Good hit up here. Oh, Ether, he had a gap in front of him, but he hit the defender, unfortunately, instead of that gap. Playing it there 5 meters out. Kick time. Thompson boots it way too hard there. And, well, it looks like both of these teams are getting a little bit of the jitters here, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just a bit of too many weight picks on that one for Luke Thompson. As we said, a penalty, just not great discipline there from the Raiders, and they're going to want to prove that because yeah, they just don't want to be given too many penalties out of yardage for the Storm.
And as we saw last week, the Storm, they were explosive off each of those Roosters errors that they were able to capitalize on. And, well, if that happens again tonight, the Raiders are going to be in trouble as Corcoran comes down the blind side with Tank. A good run there from Tank, gets up just shy of the 30. Will be taking off for a lovely little rest in about 6 minutes as Tama works his way over the 30 for his third. Going blind again. White links up with Nolt, and Nolt, he's been having a run almost every single set, and that proves well for some of those boys out wide who right now almost get through the line there. Tama put on his back again. The Raiders, they've done their homework tonight, Liam, because they have been stopping Tama every time he runs the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been on a mission tonight just to stop him more than anything because he has not been able to get into space. They've been right up on him. Whenever he gets the ball, it seems like there's two or three Raiders defenders there just to make the tackle on him. That was the first time where he had a bit of space. He didn't make the step. And yeah, the Raiders, they're going to try and work it out of yardage here. As we see Lucas said, take a good hit up.
Godwin hitting the line. Looked like he was looking for an offload, but he held on. Smart move there. Arnworth just taking a lovely good right line up the tram tracks there for his third. Coming back across. Godwin hits the line. Lovely ball to Caval, and Caval, he had a double a couple of weeks back and a bit of a quiet week last week, so the forward is probably going to want a good night tonight as Godwin links up with Arnworth and is pushed back. So they've made about 51 meters, which isn't a terrible sight. But considering they started 10 meters out, thinking the Raiders, they probably would have wanted a bit more out of that set, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that they were hoping to get into the Storm attacking 50, but I think that you just want to mount some pressure, get through a couple of sets, and then hopefully be able to stop the Storm here like they are at the moment because they might be able to win this field position battle.
As Captain White gets up just shy of the 40 for his third. If they have another decent run here, they might be able to kick for some field position, but they make it over that 40, and Tonga gets just shy of the 50. Tonga, another standout for the Storm last week, making a double, his debut double in the season as Metcalf. Ooh, up, up, there he's over. That is, well, there must have only just been inches in that, Liam.
Yeah, I think it might have just been a forearm or something down the sideline here. It was, oh, it's just his
Oh,
boot.
his ankle. Oh,
Oh.
massive let off there for the Raiders. And first tackle, they're just shy of the 50. 2 minutes left, and we're about to see some prop interchanges. And the Raiders, they're going to welcome on Barker Barge and Rangaray, both boys who had massive impact off the bench last week. I think Barker even went over for his own try last week, Liam.
Yeah, he did. He was those two are very strong last week. I think they really won that. That's not a good ball. That's exactly what we saw from the Storm. But I think these two sides just have to clean up in the errors. But back to what I was saying, they really won that battle with the Broncos interchanges when they came on last week. So they'll be looking to do the same here. But the Storm, I think they've got a bit more of a formidable duo coming on.
Yeah, when you got the likes of Cotter and Lockyer on the bench, you know you got some strength straight up the guts. And again, one of the reasons why they steamrolled the Roosters last week. As JJ plays the ball for his third. Metcalf just hits the line, gets up into attacking territory. Fourth tackle, another good run here. And well, they might not even need to get to their kick, but White, he's brought down 5 meters out. Here we go. Galaxia Metcalf, both good kickers off the boot. And it comes to Metcalf, who unfortunately drops it for Godwin, and Godwin is off. But dear God, every Storm player loved the fact that he got ankle tapped there. But Timoteo James, um, decent start for the Raiders, but they're going to need more than just a couple of darts out of dummy half here, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. What a tackle that was from Quinton Cotter. Coming straight onto the field off the interchange bench and doesn't ankle tap. That's try saving, I reckon. And brilliant stuff as the Raiders are working it down here and they're in the some good field position.
At Barker, there we are, getting up to the 30. Tenavisi Barnes, he had a good run the previous run there, but again, another boy who was left fairly quiet last week, who the Raiders will want to be firing on all cylinders. As Weary Jones gets around his first and is brought down just shy of the 20. 18 minutes left, and this arm wrestle doesn't look like it's going to abate anytime soon. As Tama, he's brought back again, Liam.
Yeah, Tama, as we mentioned earlier, is just not really getting the space to be able to do anything here. And they're going to want to be able to get him some ball and some space because we know how dangerous he is. And the Storm, they really like to use him out on this yardage.
White, he's pushing over, fourth tackle. They might not put a kick in here in the Storm. They're going to be limited to some fairly simple meters yet again as Metcalf finally gets up over the 50 for his fifth. Very slow play of the ball. The ref doesn't see anything wrong with it though as they pass it back over to Tonga and he boots it on down. Can Barnes get around this time? He cannot, and this absolutely defensive onslaught continues once more, Liam. Oh,
Oh,
except no. Okay, here we go. Storm, who do they need to get it to here, Liam? Because they are in prime attacking position.
I think they just need to look to their forwards. I think the forwards inside their red zone's really where their danger lies. I think that if they can't get over with some of these forwards, maybe they just look to Turbo. He's very dangerous. I think that he'll one-on-one, he'll be very hard to stop near the line.
Towards Lockyer gets very close. Is he over? No, the ref tells him to stand up and play the ball. Oh, Corcoran tries to get over, but the Raiders, they were awake to that one. Fourth tackle. They can't waste this here, the Storm. But Galaxy, he dummies out, and he is put onto his back, which will take him out of fifth tackle option. And unfortunately, it looks like there's a bit of white line fever out there for the Storm.
Yeah, there is. They're going to have to look to Metcalf on this kick, but obviously he created that first try, and yeah, they're struggling to capitalize on these opportunities. And the Raiders will be licking their lips if the Storm don't score here, because you'd certainly want to be leading with how many opportunities the Storm have had so far.
A massive boot up in the air by Metcalf, and he's done it again, Liam. He's booted it up, he's followed it through, and he scored off his own kick. Metcalf is dragging the Storm, kicking and streaming into a win right tonight.
Yeah, that's great stuff from Metcalf. I think we're going to have to start looking at these wingers over for the Raiders. I think it was Tenebisi Barnes who got out jumped. Not sure it was him on the first try, but yeah, you just can't be getting out leaped by the kicker two times in a row. It's quite poor, and I think the Raiders have to get it worked on because you don't want to concede two tries in the same manner. Getting out leaped by a halfback, it's not something you look forward to, is it?
No, definitely not. Particularly with, well, the stats difference alone is something that is not to be sniffed at. It's a tale of two very different sides tonight, or at least over the last two rounds. The Storm, they relied really heavily along their back line. It's very interesting. It's their spine firing all cylinders tonight, Liam.
Yeah, they're very versatile, aren't they, the Storm? They've got a lot of strike power, as we mentioned. So I think that's the power, like their superpower, because they've just got so much strike and they can kill you in a number of ways, whereas a lot of other SRL sides probably don't have that capability.
As Quinton Cotter does a lovely 10-meter run straight up the guts there, hits a hole and is buried on the 40. Corcoran comes out of dummy half, but is not fooling anyone, and Corcoran should probably just settle on passing it back out. Tama passes it off. Lockyer hits the line. They are not making as many meters as this set would have indicated to begin with as they come across for Cotter. Give it to Cotter again, but he is brought down. So the Storm, fifth tackle, 55 meters gained. The Raiders, they need to hit back soon because with 12 minutes left on the clock, it's not a very large deficit, but considering how few points have been scored so far tonight, Liam, every point counts leading into that halftime break.
Yeah, absolutely. Both sides got very clear intentions. Like a try near half time's obviously a coach killer for the side that concedes. So the Storm won't be going to concede here, but the Raiders they've been had a lot of effort in this first half, and yeah, they really want to be level at half time because if not, I think the Storm could come out firing in this early in the second half.
Oh, and Ether cops one for his troubles as Thompson boots it over, but it's only a 40-40. And Tamar, he grabs the ball, but he is not able to bring it back. So with 10 minutes left, it looks like the fatigue of the game out there and that absolute massive defensive effort they've had to put in is starting to trickle into the Raiders as Lockyer, massive run there from the prop, the bench prop, I should say. 10 minutes left, second tackle. Coming down the blind. Metcalf linking up with Turbau. Turbau to White. And he is over. The Raiders breathe a sigh of relief. And the Storm, well, they hang their heads with just a little bit of disappointment there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a brilliant tackle from the Raiders, number 6, I believe. That's James Godman. Does a brilliant job down that sideline, and yeah, they will breathe a massive sigh of relief because I thought that the Storm were going to be in for another before halftime, and it would have been big trouble.
And who is it to take them out of danger there? But Riley Flynn, the captain. Lovely offload to Timoteo James, but he is rocked once more. Get that into your son. Oh, and there we go. That's the power of a big hit. The Storm force an error, and here they come. They have 8 minutes left, and they are back in the red zone here, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. It's danger signs for the Raiders if they keep making this many errors. You just can't invite this Storm side as much as they have late in this first half.
Corcoran, 15 metres out, third tackle, they go blind. Metcalf linking up wide again with Tonga. White gets around, but White is brought down by some desperate tackles once more. Fourth tackle coming across. Tonga, oh, he's held up. He was shaping up around the ruck, trying to sneak around those defenders, and he is brought down. They'll bring it back 10 metres for another kick. But the Raiders, they have been resolute in defense here, but it's only a matter of time before before they crack, you'd think, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they've conceded both their tries off kicks, so a little bit dangerous signs. And Metcalf puts the ball off again. I don't see him getting this one though.
No, unfortunately, he was a little bit further back, and he had to rely on Weary Jones. 7 minutes left. The Raiders, they're fighting out of trouble again. As Rage, that's a good run from the benchy. And a very slow play the ball. It looks like the Storm, they're getting it just as tired as the Raiders out there. As Barker. Another good run through the hole. Sausage legs pumping, coming blind. Thompson linking wide over with Flynn. Flynn to Riff, but Riff is met with a handy tackle here. Buried on the 40, third tackle. Going wide. Ether. Oh, he tries to thread his way through the gap, but is brought down on the 50. Good, strong post-contact meters here from the Raiders. They need a really good run here for a good kick. As Flynn links up with Riff. Riff is dancing down the sideline, but Tamar. Oh, somehow, I don't know how, but he's kept himself in there. And the Raiders, with a good attacking kick here, some good defense against Weary Jones, they hold him back. And my goodness, that's a hell of a turnaround there, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been shocked at how non-existent the kick returns have been today. There's been virtually no impact on kick return for either side, and yeah, these Storm outside backs, they've been held relatively in check so far, but this forward pack, they are starting to muscle up, and this man, Lachlan Lockyer, he has been huge.
It's the Storm, they come blind. Weary Jones dances around one, but is forced back in a good one-on-one tackle there. Fourth tackle. They're not in kicking place here. Oh, Sanchez, that was lucky. Especially lucky for me because I've got him in my fantasy team and I don't want him causing any errors to drag those points down. Laxey hunts it up and over. And this will be a massive return for Flinny Boy. He gets around one, but he is met with some good, strong defense. They might be able to get a good attacking kick in at the end of this set. But this is hard going for the Raiders. And with 3 minutes left, we might just go into the halftime break 12-6, Liam.
Yeah, it's looking more and more likely as we go on here because the Raiders, they're not really able to penetrate this Storm line, and but they're on the attack here, so they might end up jagging a try late.
Godwin, he takes the ball and just runs, which will take him out of kicking position. Just over the 30. They're probably going to rely on a punt here. A bit of a crossfield punt here to Weary Jones. They've been able to lock him down all so far tonight, and they do it once again. So 2 minutes left. This will be the Storm's last chance in the first half to get themselves up the field. What do the Storm need to do coming back in after the halftime break, Liam?
Look, I think they just need to figure out a way to get Tama involved because he hasn't been able to really penetrate this line. The Raiders have had his number, or alternatively, just hand it to their big forwards because they've been huge, and I think that they can do some damage early in the second half.
Oh, and that's a shocker of a kick there as Barge. He leaps out with one massive mitt and drags it back in. They've got 1 minute to jag a try to bring it up. And here comes Nicholas Ether. Ether. He is over. That is phenomenal. The Storm fell asleep, and the Raiders, they look like they might just go in 12 all at the halftime break.
Yeah, that's a coach killer for the Storm there. I'm not too sure what happened in defense there. It looked like Tama was expecting them to leave him for him, and yeah, he fell victim to a couple ankle taps and sent him the wrong way. And yeah, the Raiders, they've got a very opportune try at the end of the half, and it looks like we're going to be going in 12 all.
And Riley Flynn, he made that one small change to his team list this week, and it's already paid off dividends with Nicholas Ether filling in at that number 12 jersey. 10 seconds left. The Storm, they're going to rue what was quite a few missed opportunities in the first half. And the Raiders, well, they haven't really been playing too bad. Uh, Themselves, one or two missed opportunities. So both of these captains will go into the halftime break. I feel probably some mixed messages, but definitely entertaining. More to come. And welcome back here to bright and breezy Amy Park, where we have the Melbourne Storm hosting the Canberra Raiders. 12 all is the halftime score, and you would be forgiven because, well, the Storm, they had a massive win last week and been held relatively talentless this week, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely, AMAC. It's certainly been a bit of a boring game so far, to say the least. You wouldn't expect that from the Storm, but yeah, they're a bit far and ready to go in this second half.
Now, the Raiders, they came into this game sitting at number 6 on the ladder. The Storm filling in as number 2. But those halftime stats, there were not a lot of run meters at all, were there, Liam?
No, absolutely not. There wasn't really any standouts, but from what I did see, I was quite impressed with Irby Armworth from the Raiders. I think he had about 89 meters for a back row. It was pretty good. Uh, and the main concern I had with the Storm was Tama Turbo. He had only about 30 or 70 run meters actually. Was quite quiet by his standards.
And well, another shocking stat from both of these teams, both hookers, James and Corcoran, only really running for about 30 meters each, which is not what you expect at all from two of the strongest attack-oriented number nines out in the league. But we keep going, and already it looks like the Raiders are in prime attacking position as Godwin links over with Connell, who is off the bench and already penetrating the line. Third tackle, 15 meters out, and Tama here is stuck at hooker. Not as hooker, sorry, as um. Oh, as we go, Luca, 5 meters out. Here we go. Two tackles left. Thompson pushing forward, and on his back. He is not scoring yet, but well, they're going to check the video anyway. Speaking of number sevens, probably should mention that the standout Storm player from the first half was Luke Metcalf. Not only did he have a first half double from his own kicks, but he had probably the longest run meters of the Storm tonight so far, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. Metcalf was an absolute stand. Oh, and we see an interesting grabber. Walker picks it up and it's pretty nice. But as I was saying, it was a brilliant first half from Metcalf, and yeah, you want to continue his effort with those two tries. Oh, that's not a way to back up my praise.
No, just dropping the ball clean from that strong tackle there. And already the Raiders, with said pushing straight up the guts 10 meters out. I want to see a couple of those big boys score because I have gone SRL bet option 2 this week. That's Godwin pushing hard and pushing. And third tackle. And James linking up with Thompson, who is forced back 5 meters. Fourth tackle. They've got two left in this set, bringing it across. Sevilla pushing just for a settler. They get around his legs, and he is far enough over that the refs have to call in the bunker and bring him back. The Raiders, this is their second on the goal line in a row, and they will definitely be wanting to score because if the Storm keep turning them away, that's going to be one hell of a gut punch there for the Raiders.
Yeah, absolutely, Mac. I think that we know that the Storm are dangerous, and yeah, if you don't take your chances, I think that you'll be punished later in the half.
And unfortunately, Thompson, he digs far too into the line and can't put his boot to the ball. They're going to have to back their defense again, which, for all intents and purposes, hasn't necessarily been too bad, although they've already given a six away again there, Liam. This is going from great to woeful, unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not great there from the Rays to be given six again away on the first tackle, but I guess it doesn't really do too much for the set. But yeah, they just want to improve that discipline.
As Tank plays the ball and they go down the blind. Sanchez already scything through and up over the 50. My fantasy points. Thank you, young man. Third tackle on the 50. Coming wide. Galaxy back on the inside to White, and White pushes up forward over to the 40. Captain White, he's had a couple of runs, but definitely not the impact that he had last week. Good long pass out to Metcalf. Halves linking up Galaxy and Metcalf, and they get to the 30. 59 meters gained, and not enough but to punt it. Here we go with Riff. He had a couple of standout runs in the first half, but the Storm keep him contained, and the Raiders, they are now fighting out of their end of the field, Liam.
Yeah, they are the Raiders there as they look to Riley Flynn here. I think that uh, they're trapped inside here, and they're going to just want to make some meters up through their strong carries with their forwards. Yeah, as we say, Flynn that looked forward again.
Oh, yeah, there must have just been inches in that one. So here we go. They're going to rely on a kick from Godwin, and he boots the ever-loving hell out of that one. It's got the distance, but nowhere near the angle. And they wrap Turbo out. He gets up to the 40 at least, so the Storm will start in some good field position. Hopefully, oh, that was a risky pass back to Walker. Hopefully they can make a bit more out of this because there's 30 minutes left. And at the moment, I'm struggling to see where the points are coming from, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Turbo has been improved in this set so far. He looked dangerous on that first run from the 40-20 attempt, but yeah, in its entirety, the Storm just haven't looked penetrative enough as they did last week. Obviously, we're very, very good last week, and I think they've just came back to earth this week.
56 meters gained as Galaxy. Oh, no. Okay, well, it was a good run from Galaxy. He didn't put the boot into it. He probably could have kicked, but there was no one chasing him. And, oh, in the end, it's probably not a bad end to the set there, Liam.
No, it's not a bad set. Or as we say, Lucas said, fend off a couple, but yeah, it takes out the kick return, and yeah, I don't mind the run from Galaxy, but he certainly would have been wishing he had about five more speed there because he might have been able to put himself in.
As the forwards here for the Raiders are doing some powerful work up the field as Flynn gets up to the 40 again, torn down and not able to penetrate like he's used to. Flying Flynn is flying no more. Riff forced back just shy of the 40. They might be in chance for a kick here. I can see them shaping up behind, but they choose to run it instead, and probably a good reason too, because with the fatigue setting in the way it is, you never know what some of those kicks could do, especially as we saw at the end of the first half, an errant kick from the Storm leading to a Raiders try.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good kick return there from Eddie White. He was a bit quiet in the first half. Took over the sideline a couple of times, and yeah, the Storm are working out of their own end here with Akatank really damaging here.
Oh, that was a risky pass out to Sanchez. Sanchez, he had to check his run, otherwise it would have been a forward pass, and that would have, oh, there we go. Okay, yep, these teams are getting just a little bit frustrated with how things are going. There's not been a score for about, well, close to 15 minutes now. Probably too early for a good kick, but with the Raiders this close into the attacking half, the Storm need to be very careful because this could slip away from them, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. If they keep throwing those inside balls and Turbow's already ahead of the half there, it's certainly not going to lead to uh, many good results because they keep throwing those forward passes. I think they've just got to get rid of that ball in its entirety because they have not been able to execute. As we see the Raiders, they're on the line and yeah, it's really dangerous stuff.
Oh, good kick, but unfortunately the kick chase just wasn't there. Tonga picks it up gratefully and forces his way back out onto the field. The Storm, they're going to want some really good runs here because they got 5 minutes until they get some fresh legs off the bench, and this has been a grueling, exhausting affair so far. As Akatank forces his way up to the 30. He has been running phenomenally tonight and he is looking tired. Turbal takes it flat. He gets around the first, but is not able to get around Flinney. Gets just shy of the 50 for his fourth. Coming up down the blind. Tonga links up with Walker, and Walker, there's a little bit of confusion with the runners there, and he is forced down from the 40. 58 meters gained, but not enough to really do much except that, well, that bounce definitely favored the Raiders there. Flynn is forced to pick it up, and a wonderful kick saved kind of a subpar set there, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a brilliant kick from the captain, Jack White. It was just over Flynn's head, and yeah, they were all surprised it didn't get a better result as they have to work it out from their own end. And the Raiders, I think they really need their fresh legs because they you can see some fatigued bodies working behind the ball, and yeah, the both sides, I think they're on their feet.
Oh, here we go. Risky inside outside to Flynn, but Flynn gets around. He's lovely back offload to Sevilla. Sevilla forces his way again, and 51 meters gained. They were looking like they were going to be trapped in their half, and they're going to have to rely on some good defense here as Thompson boots it all the way down. And here comes Weary Jones. He, again, just like in the first half, is met by some good defense and can't get around. This is, what are we, 20 minutes without a stoppage. Both of these teams must be exhausted. 1.5 minutes left to go. And, well, I've said it once and I'll say it again as Turbal breaks off down the field. There needs to be something done quick because neither of these teams look like they are giving an inch at all, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. As we've got a minute until subs. I think that the both sides they're gasping for air. I think these prop rotations really about to change this one. It'll be interesting to see how it eventuates. But the Storm, they're in some great attacking field position, and it's the first time in a while we've seen them down here, I think.
As Metcalf, unfortunately, all good kick from Captain White, but it is not really chased by anyone, and the Raiders clean it up. Koval getting out over the 10. First tackle. The Raiders, they're going to be the first to get some fresh legs off the field. Lucas said, trying to run off and not really thinking whether he should or not. There he goes. He's finally off. Second tackle on the 20. Arnworth, lovely ball to Godwin, who is met and brought down almost exactly on the 30 for his third. They'll probably want to get a good run here so they can put off a 40-20 attempt. It might be a bit risky here. So James does what he can and darts out of dummy half. That is probably a very smart move there from the hooker. Up over the 40 for their fifth. 60 meters gained. The Raiders, they are looking much more on top of things. And the Storm, well, that's a lovely kick. Eddie White catches it and is dragged down. That's some smart play there from the Raiders. 18 minutes left, and the Storm are struggling.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're really desperate to get these subs on. I think they've just got them on, and these props are really. Oh, Pep Sanchez gets absolutely folded there, and the Raiders. I think they're really starting to win this battle now, and been deadlocked for the last 22 minutes, and it's interesting because we haven't got points in this half. It'll be interesting to see who cracks first.
And particularly interesting considering we had so many big blowout games last week to have such a tight affair this week as Galaxy. Oh, that's an absolutely phenomenal kick there. Kicks it way over the head of Riff, and Riff has to run back and is forced back 15 meters out. So thank God for the Storm kickers, because if that was not happening out there tonight, this would be a very different game right now, Liam.
Yeah, the last two Storm kicks have been incredible from Galaxy and White, respectively. They've really got them out of trouble and put it over the top of these Raiders outside backs. As the Raiders, they're working out of trouble again. Timothy James, he's been they're going to be six again.
Ooh, no, the ref, he said not played at, so I think the Storm, they get away with one of those ones, thankfully, and, well, the Raiders, they're going to rue probably a bit of a blunder of a call that might go to the judiciary during the week, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it just had to be a six again, or it had to be an error. I wasn't sure if it was a no call for that one, to be honest.
As the Storm, here they are, they're back into it. White, lovely pass back to Galaxy, and he peels off another 10, 15 meters. Second tackle just shy of the 30. The Storm, this is the best chance they've had all second half. Going down the blind side with Weary Jones. He passes it back to Barnes, and again, 14 minutes left. We were joking about 10 minutes ago that we might have to get to shootout territory to on-field 1-point kicks, and it looks like that joke is coming to fruition, Lim.
Yeah, absolutely. As they're just struggling to make any kind of damage in their opponent's line here, the Raiders and the Storm. So I think that the field goals are going to start coming out in the next 5 or so minutes because no one's really able to get in each other's red zone.
As Barnes plays it on the 40. They could be in 40-20 position, but those wingers, they're already back there to stop that sort of shenanigan. As White, he is dragged down on the 40. The Storm, they'll find their way probably up within kicking position, but as we all know, they probably won't take their shot until that 10-minute mark, and they are not going to finish this set before then. As JJ is back on the field and he's playing it on the 40. Coming over, Metcalf linking up with Nolt. Nolt pushing up to the 30. Third tackle. Semi-slow play the ball. JJ again working straight up the guts, and lovely offload back to Nolt, who again tries to thread the needle and is brought down 15 meters out. Very slow play the ball. Metcalf, lovely ball out to Tama. Tama, White. Do they get around him? They do. Fifth tackle on the line. Can the Raiders hold them out, or will the Storm? Oh, knock on, no advantage. That was fired way too hard into the Storm half there, and the Raiders get away with one. The Storm, um, well, that's kind of what their night has been like tonight, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that just fully encapsulates the story of the night, as you said. The Storm, those last two errors have just been costly, and they've been fully evident throughout the night. As Dimito James is made a great run again. He's been really solid tonight for the Raiders. He's been one of their saving graces, I think.
And Godwin didn't throw one, he threw two shadow dummies there and gets them up to the 30. Thompson bullets it over to Flynn, who rockets it to Riff, and Riff is dancing down the sideline. Brought down 10 meters out. They probably won't be putting it over the sticks right now, but Thompson is putting it up instead. And Ruri Jones picks it up and almost gets around Flynn. If Flynn wasn't there, Brew Jones would have run away and scored. 9 minutes left, and the Storm are going to be fighting up their end of the field with second tackle on the 20. They need a good push here, Liam, or they are going to be stuck with another bit of a shootout here from the Raiders.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Pep Sanchez make a really good run there, was well needed. As they might look to turbo here, I think. No, they're just going to take a forward run. But yeah, the Storm, they're in some good field position now. We might see them take a field goal at the end of this Saturday, get another good run.
Oh, Sanchez, he gets 35 meters out. They're in 2-point field goal, but not enough for their 1-pointer. As Galaxy, oh, that is terrifying. And Barnes picks up one hell of a spilt ball. That might just be a dagger to the Storm fans out there tonight, because that is going to be a guaranteed 6 points. And Canberra might just have run away with it, Liam.
Mouth-watering stuff there. That is just. I'm still in awe of that try. That is insane work from Mitch Barnes, and it's just a poor kick from the Storm there. They're kicking into the back of one of their own players, and Barnes swoops on it, and he just runs length of the field. And yeah, it's unfortunate for the Storm, but you just can't keep making those errors, and it's probably deserved as the Raiders take the lead. It's shocking stuff that they do, and the Raiders, they're in prime position to win this game.
And in fact, 7 minutes left in the game. This is the first time tonight that Canberra finds themselves in the lead. So with that, with minutes and 40 and spare change left in the game. There's still plenty of time for the Storm to come back and level it up, but they're going to have to do something special because, well, time is not their friend right now, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're just gonna need to throw the ball around in the next set. They're gonna need to throw everything at them. Although that hasn't been really working all night, they've just been making errors. So they're gonna have to put in a couple of perfect sets when they get the ball.
Back on the inside to Sed, who's back on the field as lock. That is perfect timing because the Raiders needed some more injection of, well, air really, as Tenavisi Barnes gets a good run, probably his best run of the night so far. The Raiders, they've got rejuvenated and regenerated energy here. As Godwin dancing on the sideline there, inches before going out, and fifth tackle, 70 meters gain. That's an excellent set after points. Lucas said, putting it high, but Eddie White's there. It was just a little bit too deep. This is the set that the Storm need. 5 minutes to go. Can they get up the end and level this scoreline, Liam?
Yeah, I think they can. It's can and do is very different, obviously, but I think the Storm, they certainly have the capability. Oh, that's just been the story of their night. Just making too many errors, and yeah, it really shows.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if they can't force an error here, or at least capitalize on something that the Raiders do, that might just be the end of the night here for the Storm. As Martin, risky ball out to Thompson, who links up with Barnes, the hero of the night so far for the Raiders. Third tackle on the other side of the 20. Coming wide with Ether. Ether has been tireless so far tonight in the number 12 jersey and will be loving a little bit of a rest in a second, or in 300 or 3 minutes worth of seconds anyway. Too many maths here for the moment. They only make 20 minutes, 20 meters in that. And, well, Tim makes the best of what he can. It's not a bad kick at all. The Storm, they've got 2.5 minutes to get up the other end of the field, Liam.
Yeah, they do. We're gonna have to see some spark from Tama and some of these outside backs. Tama, he's just held again, and he's not been able to make an impact at all. I'm not sure if it's too much defense or what. He's just been held really well by the Raiders all night. Credit to their defense; they've done an amazing job on the hat trick score last week.
Yep. And as we look forward to next week, with the Raiders, they're going to probably kind of come off with a win here. I don't want to preempt it too much, what with it being a minute and a little bit left to go, but everything is pointing towards a Raiders win. They will be sitting up the top there, much closer, probably within the top four based on tonight's. As Tenavisi Barnes, can he go over for another one and ruin? Oh, he almost ruined my bet there. Here we go. 50 seconds left. Passing it across. Going wide. Ether linking up with Barnes. Can he go over for a double? No, he can't. 30 seconds. Second. Ether. Can Ether go over for a double? He does. He is over. He breaks the heart of the Storm. He breaks the heart of this commentator who had Raiders 1-8. And he is over for a fantastically earned double tonight, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. The Raiders certainly knew something that we didn't when changing Nicholas Efer this week to back row. I wasn't expecting him to have this impact at the back row position, but he certainly made a huge impact for the Raiders and arguably won them the game.
And there we go. The points are scored. The bell has rung. The Storm, unfortunately, have gone down at home against a fantastic Raiders outfit. And they're going to have to go back to the drawing board next week because, well, come from a 48-point win down to a 12-point loss. That is just a little bit humbling, I would think, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely it is. It's just unfortunate for the Storm. They just didn't play well tonight, and yeah, as you said, I think they got a bit complacent. As we go through some of these stats, I think the 7 errors for the Storm really says a story. That was really the story of their night. I think they just weren't good enough in their discipline. The Storm only made the 4 errors. Possession was about the same, 53-47 split. Not too much there. Obviously, the Storm had more completions. It was about the same tackles. Missed tackles, the Raiders actually made five more. So line breaks were about even again, only the Raiders having three more. And meters, the Storm actually made more meters. So they had every right to be in this game. It was just they weren't good enough discipline-wise.
Definitely. As we come across to some individual stats here from the Storm, and well, this is a mixed bag. Tyler Doonan was on there for 40 minutes. He didn't have a single run. He did make three tackles though, and a single kick for 37 meters. But considering he was on as a number 16. That was some interesting stats there. We got Jack White, good captain's knock there, 123 run meters, 20 tackles, a smattering of tackle breaks and line breaks and kicks and stuff. Again, a good night, but definitely reined in. Metcalf is probably one of the standouts tonight for the Storm. The only one to score for the Storm, and well, he's got some mixed stats there as well, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. Metcalf, obviously the 104 kick meters with his two tries. We made the two errors as well. Uh, Also noteworthy, I think that Galaxy 190 meters at the number six jersey. He had 179 meters, made an error. Obviously, two line breaks. Tama Turbow, he was also held very quiet tonight, 172 meters by his standards at least. For some other fullbacks, that's pretty good. Three line breaks, that's pretty small. And Pep Sanchez, I thought he was really solid and out there tonight. 132 meters with the seven tackles, only one miss, made the three line breaks. Pretty solid.
Yep. As we keep coming down, again, a spattering of blokes who've done over 100 odd meters here and there. Patrick Corcoran, he only had 38 run meters, which is a phenomenally low stat for the young number nine, but 30 tackles and none missed. So what he didn't make up in attack, he definitely made up for in defense there. As we move over to the Raiders. And well, if we look at that, the forwards tonight for the Raiders are definitely the standout with the likes of Said and Barnes up there. Um, the hero for the Raiders tonight, Mitch Barnes, 148 run meters, 19 tackles. A smattering of interesting kicks there from some of those forwards. They might want to go back and stop passing it to them. But other than that, is there anyone else here that you want to highlight, Liam?
Goldwyn, he was pretty good tonight. I thought he had a standout game. He made a couple good runs down the wing, 179 meters, made 13 tackles, didn't miss one. Had the four line breaks, had five kicks for 188 minutes. That's meters. That's really solid. Had the error, but I thought he was pretty good. Luke Thompson had a rather average game. He had a good kicking game with 228 meters, set up the try. Uh, Nicholas Afer obviously as well. He had 117 meters with the two tries. Obviously conceded a couple, conceded a penalty and had an error. And yeah, Irby Armworth as well. He was awesome tonight. 181 meters out of that left back row spot, 13 tackles, only the one miss with three line breaks and the try. So awesome stuff from him.
Yep. Now, looking forward to next week, these two teams are going to come up against some very challenging teams. The Storm, unfortunately, they've had one hell of a game tonight. They're matching up against the Dolphins next week. The Raiders, I'm just a little bit worried because they're up against my Eels next week, and considering how they've gone tonight, that's going to be a very interesting matchup, Liam.
Yeah, absolutely. Two big matchups next week for those two sides, and it will certainly be interesting because those games could both go either way.
So that's all from us tonight here at Amy Park. Canberra Raiders taking it to the Storm and coming away with a wonderful 12-point win. Enjoy the rest of your night, SRL fans.